Good morning, good afternoon, apologies. Good afternoon, it's Taz. I've had a busy morning, so apologies. I'm here at Moor Pool Hall behind me and with the Moor Pool Heritage Trust on a very special and last sensory walk for me. So I'm really gonna miss these sensory walks, and those who've been following me, I hope you've enjoyed it. Today is really, it's all the hard work that we've done over the last few walks, putting it together and getting a real sensory experience, because we've got a physical walk as well as a virtual walk. So I hope you can enjoy this walk. Do share it with your friends and family. Apologies for going on a bit later than normal, but we're going to go off and introduce our hosts and guests as well. So over to the host. Hello.
Yeah, hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Callan, I'm from Sense. So we've got a lovely sensory walk here today at Moor Pool. So starting at the Moor Pool Hall, making our way down through the estate and then to the sensory garden, which is just a little bit further along the estate. So we've got some people joining us here for the walk as well, which is lovely, but hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the sights and the sounds if you're watching it on Facebook as well. We've got Rachel here from Moor Pool Heritage Trust, and Rachel, as we go along, myself and Taz will be highlighting some really nice sensory features and sensory highlights along the way, and Rachel's going to be giving us a little bit of information about the area as well, and a little bit of history as to the Moor Pool Estate and how it's come to be to where it is today. So really looking forward to it, and let's get going.
Brilliant. And over to you, Rachel. So do you want to introduce Moor Pool Hall?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Rachel. I'm one of the people who works here at Moor Pool Heritage Trust, and it's a beautiful 54-acre estate just on the edge of Harborne, about 3 miles away from Birmingham, and it was the brainchild of a gentleman called John Sutton Nettlefold, who was a real inspirational character. And I was sort of saying, this is the best time for you to do a walk, because our favourite class is on at the moment. It's Ladies Keep Fit, which is always accompanied by a live piano. So we're talking about sensory. We can start off with like the sound of the piano here in the Moor Pool Hall, which is still a very well used resource, over 100 years since the estate was built.
And behind you, you've got a beautiful little garden area, because the bees are around. You can see the bees now, and our pollinators. We have to look after our pollinators as well. So I'm just going to go up close to show you some of those lovely bees. Can you see them here, guys? So what a welcome we have here at Moor Pool Hall. Straight away, the senses are triggered.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? So we're going to go off on our walk, and we've got guests as well who are going to say hello everyone, and you're going to enjoy this walk today. So we'll go off. If you've got any questions for our participants, those who are watching virtually, put them into the comments. We're going to go off and enjoy. It's going to be about 45 minutes in total, but we might go a bit over or under, that's fine. So hope you enjoy. Let's go.
Okay, right then, so as we're sort of walking around, there's because it's, like I say, it's over 100 years old, the estate. So we're going to go down some paths. They're going to be a bit bumpy, so just be careful as you're walking down, because there's some uneven surfaces. We're going to try and avoid any of the steps. I think if we just go around anyway, we just avoid the steps, so everybody can stay together. All right then, and as you will find out when you come on a walk with me, I don't have a script. I just like basically bounce off you and what you're interested in. Okay, so but the main thing to say about Moor Pool Hall and Moor Pool Estate is what John Sutton Nettlefold wanted was to bring the best of the town and the countryside together. So if you sort of like think as you pulled up, and I still think this now after I've been here for years, like, wow, this is like being a little village. That's what John Sutton Nettlefold wanted. And so there's loads of trees and hedges, and you just hear, it blocks out a lot of the sound of the Birmingham traffic. And you just hear the wind in the trees, and you hear the birds singing. So let's make a start. I'll bring up the rear.
So we've got a safe crossing point here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just be careful because all of these roads are used. We're going to cross from here across to that.
There's a van
drop.
coming,
Oh,
just
hold
be
on.
careful.
Or just stop the van.
We'll stop the van. Oh, he's
he's
going.
going up there.
There you go. So we're crossing over safely using the crossing points and the drop curves to start our wonderful sensory experience. And the wonderful people of Sense who are here today have brought along all their participants who are going to enjoy this sensory walk. And we're going to go out and we're going to learn and we're going to see, we're going to smell, we're going to touch, and hopefully have that all of our 5 senses triggered today. This is a nice spot. We can all gather around here with the cast iron Moor Pool Avenue sign. You have to make sure we get that sign in, Rachel.
Yeah. So this shows just a few of the real highlights of Moor Pool. So you can see the hall, and what Nettlefold didn't want, he didn't want like really grand places where people felt like, oh, this isn't for me, this is too posh for me. So the hall doesn't look grand when you see it in amongst the other buildings. It's just sort of quite a humble place. These are the shops, and then all of the colours that pretty much are followed now. They're the green and the cream, so they're sort of colours from nature. And then as we walk down Moor Pool Avenue, what you'll see is like you've got some houses on one level, you've got some other houses on a lower level, and that's basically because he's just followed the lines, the contours of the land. And what I wanted to say is, if you just notice any houses on a corner, they're not like sharp angles, like they're just like set at a gentle angle, because it's just supposed to make you sort of feel, and everything's flowing and everything's lovely. So that's all intentional, even though it all sort of feels like it just sort of grew up very organically, but it was all very carefully planned. So any questions? Or
Not at the moment, but thank you for the explanation. It's very clear. So if anybody watching at home has any questions for Callan, for Rachel, for myself, please do put them into the comments. And even if we can't get you an answer directly, we will look back at the comments and we can get back to you after the walk as well. So I hope we've been blessed again, Callan, with the lovely weather. So how many times? Third time here, third time lucky.
I must be a lucky charm, I think, Taz. Yeah, these are nice, aren't they? These
yeah, we've got these weeping willow
Weeping
type
willow,
of
yeah.
trees that are above us, and we're walking under, so you get to touch. So what's the texture like on these?
quite rough actually. Everything's quite dry at the minute. I know it did rain overnight, didn't it? But everything's quite dry at the minute, isn't it really? Because we've had a lot of dry weather.
And like Rachel said, so you're on ground level here, so you are your eye level, you can see these lovely green trees, flowers, plants. But down below, if I show just to our viewers, there's people's gardens here, look. So they're a lot lower down there, and look at those wonderful birds are sitting right outside your doorstep. You've got wonderful colours, smells, sounds, and you're getting intrigued. We are going to show you what's down there, but we're not going to be able to use these stairs. We're going to use the more wheelchair accessible access to this. So I'm actually going to enjoy this final walk because I love Moor Pool Hall. I've been here 3 times now with Callan and Rachel, and we've had a wonderful experience setting this up. So I hope you get to see some of the wonderful colours like here. Look at the colours coming through, and the smells, and and the smells that you'll be able, well, we'll share the smells with you. Unfortunately, the video doesn't allow the smelly vision, but they're just a wonderful start to the walk.
Have you had any well wishes, Taz?
Let's have a look. So we got Amina. Hello, she's wishing you all the best in your new job. So I've got one. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to miss these sensory walks, but I hope that you will continue watching as the Active Wellbeing Society will be continuing their walks program with the new restructure that's happened recently. So lots of really great walks planned, physical walks as well as virtual. So do keep watching this space, as someone will be doing a grand job and taking over the walks from here. So this is Moor Pool Avenue, and we're just coming up to the first corner here, and we're going to go down to see the Moor Pool and also the bowling club.
Okay, so we've come up Moor Pool Avenue. We're just going to walk down now towards one of the secret paths that crisscross the estate. Okay, so if you just want to walk down.
Exciting, guys! Secret paths. So Rachel, I just did a sneak preview of what's down there. But because of the access point, we're coming around. So you could go down the stairs as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
If you were walking here.
Yeah.
And here is another way of getting to the bowling club and the beautiful pool that we're going to see now.
Yeah.
And it is this way.
It's just down here.
It's down here. It's hidden. So if you follow Rachel, and we'll go with the camera with Rachel.
And the beautiful dappled light down here, because there are so many trees. It's really beautiful.
And it's almost immediately cooler down here as we come away from the sun with all the dappled light. Wonderful. I'm going to just show you the view from the top there, guys. So wow, as we're going through this lovely welcome here, and on the right we're going to see a magical sight here. As you can see, the birds come up so close to you, Rachel, don't they?
They do.
So friendly. And then it opens up to this view, and as I turn the camera we're going to go a bit further as well, so you'll see it better from there. But that's what we are heading to, guys. So this we're going to learn about. Oh, there's a dragonfly. There's a lovely blue dragonfly coming along with me on this walk stretch there. So we get to the site where Rachel wants us to stop, and then we're going to have a chat with you, and just keep watching, keep sharing, and look at these wonderful views that we're providing. Hope the camera can do justice, because this place is so beautiful, so beautiful.
Right, so we'll just stop here because there's not that many of us, so we can just talk here.
Yeah.
So this is the bowling club, and this is the fishing club, but it's the original Moor Pool, which is what Moor Pool Estate is named after. And originally, although I don't live in Harborne, I don't live in Moor Pool, but I always thought of Harborne as very sort of posh. But like Harborne, when it was all set up, it was really Harborne. There were a lot of washerwomen round Harborne who used to sort of work and wash everything for the richer people of Edgbaston, and so they used to use various different water sources, but apparently because the Moor Pool is actually fed by a natural spring, they would actually wash their clothes in the Moor Pool. And also, before there was Harborne swimming pool, people tell stories, the older residents tell stories that they used to go swimming in the Moor Pool, and also they, in the winter, when we had lots of cold winters, used to freeze over, and they used to go ice skating. So ice skating in the winter, swimming in the summer. You know, it sounds it's idyllic way to grow up, doesn't it? So this is gorgeous.
Did you hear that on that side? So ice skating, washing clothes, and just generally water, you know, being around water and fishing. So that was the purpose of this spot here, right here. And then next to there, the bowling green. Now, when was that introduced, Rachel? And look at the lovely, well-kept bowling green.
Yeah. So
now, is this gate locked, is it?
Unfortunately, yes.
We can't go into the bowling green, but I can show you the views here.
Yeah.
Now, this is down towards ground level. So imagine coming down, taking a seat, and this is what you see. Now, doesn't that do wonders for your well-being when you see that? And this was carefully designed as well as part of the plan.
Absolutely. So basically, the bowling club is the oldest club at Moor Pool, and they still have the letter. I think it's actually in Harborne Library, but they have a copy of the letter in the clubhouse, where they were talking in 1909 you know, about setting up the bowling club, and there's been a bowling club in Moor Pool since that time. And so they're not here at the moment, but you know, like often you will come down in the afternoons and you will see people, you know, sort of playing bowls. So it's a really wonderful thing. And although Moor Pool Heritage Trust owns all of the community assets, there's all different clubs who actually sort of run them, if you see what I mean. So what John Sutton Nettlefold wanted was, he wanted everybody, like, you know, the wealthy and the less wealthy, to all like live happy and fulfilling lives together, you know, like, and that was, so you didn't buy your house, you would lease your house, and it wasn't particularly expensive. And you know, that's sort of changed a bit now, because Moor Pool houses, when they come up to are quite expensive. But I'd like to think that John Sutton Nettlefold's vision for, you know, like everybody coming together and living healthy lives is actually continued on through the clubs, because basically you don't have to live anywhere near to Moor Pool to actually be a member of the club, you know. So you could join if you wanted to come bowling, then you could do that, you know, or come fishing. Yeah,
Sounds great. Sounds brilliant, doesn't it? So what we could, because Commonwealth Games bowling's going to be heavily featured, and there's a site in Leamington that's going to be used at Victoria Park.
Okay.
People who might be watching it from here and then getting their practice in as well, maybe one day representing the Commonwealth teams as well. So you could,
Well, it would be
do you have
really-
any, I know you're going to talk about tennis history, but have you got any bowling history from people who may have been from the club here?
I don't have, well, I suppose I don't know many famous bowlers. So, but I mean, that would be great if one of the legacies of the Commonwealth Games would be that there was like a resurgence of interest, and you know, like these little clubs, they could actually sort of get a new surge in membership.
Yeah.
You know, like, because it's just such a lovely thing, you know, to sort of to see and to hear, and you know, and they're a lovely bunch of people who, you know, so if the weather's nice, they're bowling during the season, and then if not, they're sort of like playing various games in the clubhouse. So
And
it's a
there's
lovely
and there's a lovely clubhouse there, look, which we didn't show, but just around here, maybe I'll show you better from there. A lovely clubhouse where people still gather and do activities from. So yeah, I think that leaving the legacy of the Commonwealth Games with satellite clubs like this, getting people into, you know, into team and Commonwealth Games, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Because I do think that Moor Pool has got so much to teach, you know, planners worldwide, really, because, you know, we still have, you know, people who sort of second, third generation people have lived here, you know, they're still living healthy, active lives on the estates. You know, we have, you know, sort of Barbara Eichen, who's well in her 90s. She still volunteers, she still sort of like sells tickets for things, and you know, she's helps with coffee mornings, you know, and I've sort of mentioned Barbara, but we have over 100 volunteers, you know, who live on Moor Pool or live in, you know, the wider community. So it's a really sort of, it's about sort of well-being. Before we coined the term well-being, Nettlefold knew
He was
about
already
it.
thinking, he was thinking way ahead, wasn't he? Amazing.
I don't know if you can get it on the camera, Taz, but like I don't even know what it is that's falling from the
Oh, from that tree,
the trees,
maybe
yeah.
one
I
of
don't
the
know if you
trees.
can see it.
I don't know if you can zoom in
It's
a
like
bit.
snow, isn't it,
but
really? It's like really
if I
slow.
try and zoom in, there's just, you might be able, there you go, you might just be able to see
Yeah,
what
really
looks
small
like small
bits of-
feathers or leaves or something. It looks like snow coming off that tree.
I guess it's some sort of seeds, isn't it?
And it's seeds, yeah. So if anybody in the watching knows what the seeds are called, let us know, put it into the comments.
Candy floss.
But it's like little pieces of candy floss, you're right, yeah. It's wonderful, it's magical. It's like a summer wonderland, not a winter wonderland.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
Brilliant.
shall we go back? Oh, it's
Yeah.
everybody gonna...
I'll go and gather them,
All right.
so brilliant. So we're going to head back this way. Brilliant. Is he okay there? Fabulous. So as they are walking back slowly, again showing you the bowling club and the fishing club. So the Moor Pool Fishing Club, and what a wonderful little hidden gem. and we've found so many hidden gems during my time. So the whole year of Sensory Walks has been going since June last year, when we started on the 1st of June, the first walk, and now we're in the middle of June, a year on, still doing the Sensory Walks. And I'm stopping here because the smell from those flowers is absolutely beautiful, and I'm sorry you can't pick that up, but I can pick that up. And just to say, the views across the pool as well are absolutely stunning. Lots of bees around pollinating, and obviously the resident swan and ducks and geese that are resident to the pool here can be seen on occasions. There's a couple there who are down, the geese there. Can you see the geese over there? Look, there's two. There you go. James, can you see them? All the way over there. And for our viewers, that's a little zoom in. That's what we're referring to. There they are. And they've got the best seat in the house with that wonderful view. But we're going to come to a bench over here which has got a wonderful view as well. So let's show you that view. So I'll turn the camera to me for a second as I'm coming through this tight narrow path. Now, those who have been doing these walks, you know, I know that you've had opportunities to go out and trial these walks, but if you need any more information, you just contact Rachel West from Moor Pool Heritage Trust. You know, they've got a Facebook page, I've tagged that in. You can contact the Active Wellbeing Society and we can share on information, and that way you can come out and try this walk yourselves.
Yeah, so this is the only road that I would say, yeah, they come a bit fast along here. So let's sort of wait until there's a space to cross. And we're going to cross drop curb to drop curb over there.
Okay. So there. Brilliant. So while they've done the safe crossing, and you're going to use the safe crossing here, there is a lovely view that I'm going to show just for the camera. I'm going to show that view for the camera and I'll join there. So this is the Moor Pool Bowling Club entrance, and just behind these hedges is a bench, and if you are able to come down here, there's a board here with all the information about the Moor Pool Heritage Trust. So Moor Pool here, there's a map of the area that you can follow, walking routes, and you've got some information about the Moor Pool and the Netfall Garden, which we're going to get down to. So if you've got a video, you can pause it here after the video's ended and learn, read more about that. And that's the wonderful view of the pool from here, and you can see there's activities are advertised as well, and there's a lovely bench for you to sit. So I'll catch up with Rachel, and Rachel's going to tell us about the next part of the walk. Are you enjoying it so far? Yeah? Thumbs up? Any thumbs up for our viewers at home? Yeah? So if you do a thumbs up, the viewers at home can do thumbs up as well, yeah? And if you want to do hearts, you can do hearts, yeah? And smiley faces. Lots of smiley faces emojis, yeah? Brilliant. So make it interactive, guys. So we're on Winterbourne Lane now.
Yeah, so I was just saying before that Ravenhurst Road is an older road, and then most of the other roads that we've come along, like we started in the Circle, we came up Moor Pool Avenue. These are all original roads to when the estate was built between 1907 and 1912. This is actually a new road.
See, like new houses.
Even though if you first look at these houses, you think that they're a good match for the other houses on the estate, but this was actually sort of built only a few years ago, and so it's really interesting to sort of see how these houses match the other houses, but they've tried to sort of match what they did originally. So I was walking along here the other day and I saw that the copper beech hedges were really coming up and really looked beautiful, and this is one of my main things that I always bang on about, is how you can have like difficult things happen to you, but then it can lead to better things happening to you. And like this is an example of something difficult that was happening to the people of Moor Pool, that there was a developer who wanted to put new houses onto this space, which was originally some of the allotments, but then they did do that, but then that led to the Residents association forming into Moor Pool Heritage Trust and then raising the money to actually buy the community assets. So in the end it gave the community sort of more control. So what I'll say is the only thing about this road is that the cars do tend to park on the pavement, but cars do come very slowly and quietly along this road. So I have done this walk a lot of times, and it is okay as long as you're happy to sort of walk along the road. Okay? And we're going to go to another secret path.
Secret path. And up we go. So this is our next, so we're leaving the pool and the bowling club behind us, down Winterbourne Lane, nice and carefully, and enjoying these views. Yeah.
When I started off, myself and my friend who started at the same time, we just had to explore, and you think, I'm going to end up in somebody's garden, but you know, like, so far I never have. It always does lead up to, you know, like an allotment or, you know.
So this is the allotment, so this is open access there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
You almost do feel like you're walking through people's gardens.
Yeah. So that looks like it could be easily someone's garden that's growing there, but that's the allotment space here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And those who are watching, you know, I've done a few videos at allotment spaces and how wonderful those spaces are for your well-being and for the sensory experience and the touch and the smell and the taste as well, because you're growing stuff there. So yeah, and this is some information about John Sutton Netherfield himself, and a lovely board here. So I do think if you came here you need to stop and have a read, but I'm going to put my camera here for a few seconds so you can have a read. And even if you don't, after the video ends, pause the video at this point, take your time and have a read about that. Yeah, and really do come out. Yeah.
We have got, we've got I think 6 interpretation boards in total. This was the one that was here early on, but all the others have actually got like the map on them that shows the location of all of the other ones, and they tell a really good story of Moor Pool. And this is the map of the whole estate. It's sort of like almost like a cigar shape. So we started off at the circle, we've walked up there, and now we've seen the pool, and we're just coming across, so you can see that green space. That was originally a green space. And here's the man that I've been talking about, who you would think I was in love with him, but I am a bit in love with him. John Sutton Netherfield, who had the idea. And I just think it's really just so important that this was a man who he was a wealthy man, and but he just didn't care about himself. He thought about everybody, and he wanted to make everybody's lives better, you know, and that really sort of drove him. So he'd written books about, you know, sort of housing and town planning, but that wasn't enough for him. So he actually sort of took the opportunity to buy some land and to actually create the Moor Pool Estate. And I hope he'd be really proud that it's still here and it's still really providing a good, you know, and positive service for the community.
Absolutely.
Okay, are we okay? All right then. So we're going to go on, and I have trimmed the hedge yesterday.
Good.
So I hope there's going to be some space for us to go down.
We were just saying it's like a little tunnel. We're going under like a secret.
And it's a great sensory experience, because you can touch as you're walking past. You can touch. So these dark colours through there, these are copper beaches.
That's copper beach, yeah.
Yeah, wow, it's beautiful. That deep colour that you can see there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that all year round then, the same colour?
Well, I think it, you know, it doesn't. I think, you know, like it does eventually lose its leaves.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's really come into leaf over the last few weeks, because I noticed it yesterday when I came to like.
We didn't notice it last time we came.
Absolutely, and as I was walking back, I really sort of saw it, and I noticed it more this year than I have before. So they're obviously, you know, the hedges are really maturing.
Yeah.
You know, and this was all originally part of the allotments, and we've seen the allotments that are left, but what happened to a lot of the spaces that were on the allotments, is they were turned into garages, because that was one thing that wasn't really an issue when the estate was being built, you know, that I don't think it was even considered, oh, everybody will have cars. So so a lot of the allotment spaces were turned into garages, so people would have somewhere to park their cars. So that's another reason that even if you didn't know that these were new houses, you'll see that they actually do incorporate garages, which the original houses don't. So
Well, it's clean air day today, and it's nice that there's very little cars that we've seen so far on our walk, and we are breathing in wonderful clean air as we are in all these lovely green spaces there. And this was the little area that's going to be a little bit of a sensory challenge as well. So we are going to be able to squeeze through. We can touch, if we're safe to touch some of the leaves, you can give them a feel. You can stop, see what texture they are.
yeah,
That's all part of the.
touch these. 'Cause
Don't
these
touch
are
those.
brambles,
Yeah,
but
don't
you
touch
can
the brambles,
these.
and don't touch any of the nettles if you see any nettles.
But these beech leaves. So when Callan and Taz and I were last here, it was like a bit of a challenge to come through. But you can see I've had a go at cutting it back.
Yeah,
so it's
brilliant.
not as bad now. So if you'd like to follow
Yeah,
me.
if you like to go. Yeah, and I'll go on, Azar. Show us how it's done, Azar. Brilliant. So nothing to worry about. Just it's nice and flat down there. So keep going, and you'll be fine. Well, so guys, this is the little path, the secret path cutting through to another hidden gem that we're going to find when we get through to the other side. So just be careful as your feet, watch where your feet are landing. It is pretty flat, but there are some sort of like little bits of things that you need to worry about. It's been trimmed by Rachel kindly, but you can see the dappled light coming through the leaves, and then look at the leaves themselves, and through there you can see the don't know if that's coming out okay in the light, but yeah, there you go. See the structure there, and then feel that leaf that I'm holding. It's absolutely, it's just a really nice feeling, a soft, really soft, hard to describe how it is. But and then here down this path as they're going out, I'm just going to show you there is a hidden another tennis court there. So that's the original tennis court, which we're going to talk about in a short while as we get around. But now we're coming to the highlight, the feature of our sensory walk, and it's a Netterfold garden, the sensory garden that's been created by Netterfold. When we get there, we're going to have a stop, we're going to do some sensory kind of exercises and get the people, our walkers, our participants involved in touching, smelling, feeling, and then off we go around to show that space. So in total the walk is just over 2 kilometers, so it's not a very challenging walk, but obviously with people with disabilities, sensory impairments, visual difficulties, yes, it could be a challenge. So it can be shorter. You can just come into the Netterfold garden directly by coming and finding a space on this road here, and this is the garden. So Netterfold Garden Oak Project, some information about that here, and that's the entrance there. So nice, wheelchair friendly and accessible for all abilities. So as they are still coming round the corner, we'll go in and then we'll get Rachel to tell us a little bit about the Netterfold garden here. And as soon as you walk in, you see the view of the garden. And what's your first reactions when I saw this? I was gobsmacked. Little hidden space here, and hidden away from the elements into the sensory garden.
I think it was actually because I think initially we were thinking about splitting the group, but they're such a small group. I think it's okay to keep them together, don't you think?
You okay to be on camera?
Yes.
Yeah. So can I just say this is Martin, because when we did our planning, I had to say I don't really know about gardens, but this is obviously a really beautiful garden. So I'm just going to hand over to Martin to tell you a bit more about it.
Right. Okay. This has really only been a garden since 2017, that's 5 years. We try to keep it sort of wild. We're thinking about insects, bees, butterflies, natural insects. So we haven't got a lot of, it's not like a Birmingham park, put it like that, on purpose. And it's easier to look after as well. Do you want to go around the woodland area?
We were planning to do a little exercise down there as well. So
okay,
we just,
right.
if you could do an introduction and tell us a little bit more, and then we go for that little walk.
Well, we've got sort of 3 areas in the garden. Right at the very end, we've got a woodland area, which is really wild, and the children have got, it's for the children, and it's...
There she is.
Yes.
I saw her last time.
The resident cat as well?
That's Maggie.
Oh,
Maggie.
Just like
She lives in Margaret Grove, so she's
Okay.
Maggie.
We've got this area here, which is sort of woodland and meadow.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of English wild flowers here. Quite a lot we've planted. Otherwise it would just be grass and nettles. So we've planted quite a lot of wild flowers in that area. Some of them not so common. Others you see buttercups and daisies you see. But the marguerites, again, the big white daisies, you see by the roadside more than other places.
Is there an orchid down there that I can see? Is that orchid?
No, that's foxglove.
Foxglove, sorry. Yeah.
And we've got more foxgloves over there.
Oh, there,
They're
yes.
wild. They are wild. They're half and half. You see them wild, but you can buy them in the in shops as well. But the wild ones are generally white or purple like that. The ones you buy in the shops are a bit more sophisticated.
So you said the woodland, then this meadow
Yes.
area, and the
And
third
then-
is the
and then
main.
This is the lawn, where a lot of small children like this. We don't let dogs come in here, so small children like it in particular, and mums of course. And this is a bit more of a sort of maintained area. We do look after this area more, but again largely with local plants, English plants. We've got comfrey, we've got sage, we've got quite a lot of...
Oh yeah, this is what we needed you here
yes,
for,
we've got
because
the
Didn't know,
sensory
did we
area.
before?
yeah.
Yes, we've got sage, we've got rosemary, we've got lavender, marjoram, so there's quite a lot of that sort of plant, particularly in the area here. We sort of planned that.
And you've developed it's a place for pollinators, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
And
yes.
so, like, do the
So-
pollinators love this area?
Yes, in particular, they've just gone over at the moment, the comfrey.
The comfrey
is
here, yeah.
really full of bees.
Oh, there's some bees. There's some bees as we talk now.
Just one.
There's the one just turned up there for us.
Bees, of course, like it best when it's very sunny.
I know. We've been so lucky with the.
I don't know what's happened to the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been lucky
Yeah.
because we were expecting thunderstorms. So
Yes.
every time we come here, the sun's come out for us. So
Yes.
it's such a special place.
Yeah. Well, Karen says that it must be her. She must be
Yes.
bringing the sunshine.
Another thing for butterflies are the buddleia, and we've got buddleia all along the back.
Okay, that's the
Different
buddleia.
colours, white, purple, blue. They'll be coming out a bit later in the year.
Brilliant.
Um,
So Martin,
Yes.
each one of these have got a wonderful smell, and part of our sensory experience in these walks is to try and explain what kind of smells that for our viewers at home who can't get here and can't touch and can't.
Right.
Now, I was very surprised. I came and I touched the petals of this, and I
Yes.
expected it to be very coarse and harsh.
yes.
It was the exact opposite
Yes,
of that.
yes.
So,
The-
what
the
is that plant?
common name for that is lamb's ears.
Yes.
I used to call it
You got it
donkey's
right,
ears.
yeah.
I used to call it donkey's ears, but some people call it lamb's ears.
And this is what we're talking about, guys. So if you see this, and if you get a chance to come up close to that and touch, you'd expect it to be very coarse or sharp, but it's like velvet. It's so soft, so beautiful to touch, and I'm sure that bee's enjoying that being here. Yeah, he's not having to fend off any any prickly thorns or anything in the way, is there? No. Brilliant.
Yes.
So what smells that come out above others? Is it lavender, which is the strongest?
Lavender, of course, is very strong. This is
Rosemary.
rosemary. Yes, sorry.
Rosemary. Yeah.
This is rosemary, and there are various. Of course, it's used
quite
for
strong.
cooking. It's used for cooking as well.
But I think that like what rosemary, because it's traditionally used with roast lamb, isn't it? So
Yes.
it's so like lamb is quite a sort of a fatty meat,
Yes.
and then that sort of like it's quite astringent, so it sort of cuts through that fatty taste, and
Yes.
the two go very well together.
Yes.
I'm making it up because I've been a
Yes.
vegetarian.
Yes, yes. But you can make rosemary jelly for the winter time, which is basically an apple jelly, but you put rosemary into it, a lot of rosemary, and that's if you can't get fresh rosemary, it's yeah.
And I've just noticed there's a rock there that's painted. So is this for people who volunteers who have put down things like that?
Those are magic. They appear.
And it's got. I want to read what it says on there because I'm quite intrigued. So let's grab that.
We don't know. They just appear. That's a new one. That's only
Okay.
appeared recently.
Facebook Sense Rocks. Please post a photo and rehide raising awareness of sense work. So perfect for us. We're on a sensory walk. So if you see this now, we've got to post a picture. So I'll have to post a picture later on. But look at the work on that, guys.
Okay.
That's stunning. So whoever's done that, thank you. And thank you for prompting us to share a picture using our senses from the sensory garden here, Netfold Garden. So I'll put that back. It's a nice little thing. We didn't notice that last time we came.
No, it definitely wasn't there.
And there's our walkers are really enjoying it. Look, they're out. They're enjoying that space as they're going around this circular path on the main lawn. So Martin, there's a gate over there. Now,
Yes.
is that the original gate or was this added later on?
That's, in a way, was the original gate. But when we decided to open it, when we got the money to open it to the public, it wasn't convenient for the public. It's got steps.
Yeah.
It's got a slope. So we had to make a new gate, which is
It's
here.
just there, yeah.
Which is on the level and wide enough. That isn't wide. Isn't
It's not
really
wide enough
wide
for
enough
access,
for,
yeah.
for all wheelchairs and mobiles, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the flat, of course. And we have got one gentleman in particular who lives just up Pereira Road. He comes here regularly and goes all the way around through the woodland and all the way around. Yes.
Brilliant.
We
You're
tested-
thinking about everyone
tested
here.
it out on him,
Yeah.
actually. We made sure it worked for him, so it would work for everybody.
Well, thank you very much because you've done that just by bringing a gate to make it accessible for people who can't get
well,
access
it's
to
the
these
trust
spaces.
that's,
Yeah,
found the money and got it all going.
yeah.
But
Thank
it
you.
wouldn't be anything without like the volunteers and and
Yes,
your group.
we've got a little group of volunteers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but because it's not a Birmingham park, we don't have to work on it quite. Whoops.
it's okay. Got scared of the
It's
cat.
okay. She's okay.
Yeah.
She's okay. She loves people.
So yeah, but I
Yes.
mean, it just shows the difference that like if you have an idea and then you have just a few people and a little
Yes.
bit of money. Because
Yes.
when I first came to work here in 2015, this whole area was derelict.
Yes,
Completely
yes.
derelict.
Yes.
Sort of, and just that it's what
Yes.
it is now. It's just
Yes.
completely transformed.
We had the idea, but we had no money. We got money. There was a scheme for pocket parks, inner city pocket parks, and it was Rob who got 8,000. That's all it was, £8,000. But it was enough to get it up and going. We levelled the lawn, put in the path, and that was done in a day with a digger.
Yeah.
And then that was the foundation, the skeleton, and with that we could get on.
Yeah.
But without that, we'd have been a bit stuck.
Yeah. And it's just a wonderful community resource.
And like so many resources, you sort of have an idea of what it will be used for, and once it's there, other people say, "Oh, we could use this, use it for that, use it," and you don't think of everything
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
I used to work in the library service, and we had recorded books for people who were blind and so on. When they became tape, more people started using them. People who couldn't read, prisoners in the prisons and so on. And then people said, "Oh, I can use them in my car."
Yeah.
Yeah,
So all
audios,
sorts of new ways of, people who weren't reading or didn't read as
Engaging,
much, and there were new ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't foreseen when again it started as a charity. It was it was somebody who had this idea and he wanted to do it. He got money, and he set the system up.
Yeah.
And then all these other ideas. So it's the same with the here. In particular, when I was working here, before it was open, all the children would come home from school, little children, and once this is open, they'll all be in. But what I hadn't thought of or hadn't realised was the number of mums with children in prams, and they come in a lot. And we don't have dogs, so they know it's clean, they know the children can crawl around and they'll be fine. We've got the security gate, so they can close the gates so that children can't run out into the road if they're 3 or 4. And so it's used a lot by younger people, mums with younger people rather than
The
older
older
people.
kids.
But old obviously it's for anybody.
Yeah. And when I was doing some work for the like just an event as part of the James Watt thing, I did like some, I can't remember what I called it, but it was basically, we did it outside, just set up a couple of gazebos, and we just like were creating marvellous machines inspired by James Watt, sort of just sticking, all from recycled materials. So just because you've got such a lovely area, so once you've got that, then it allows other people to dream, doesn't it? So yeah.
Yes.
Well, Martin, thank you very much for your
You're very
time. Thank you
welcome.
for your
You're welcome.
volunteering and all the great stuff you do. And you've made it such a beautiful space for people to enjoy.
As I say, it's the team. We've just got some new. We've got 3 new, very enthusiastic younger people, which is nice.
Big shout out to all the volunteers then there and the younger people coming in.
Yeah.
So I noticed that the rest of the guys have gone in. So do you want to do a lap around here, Rachel? Lead us through to the woodland forest area?
All right then.
Yeah.
Of course, the other thing is a lot of cats come in
Yeah.
here. The children love the cats, that Maggie
Maggie,
in particular, but there are other cats that come in and talk to the children. And I was here one day, and a mum was just leaving with her 2 very small children, and she said, "Oh, we love it here. We call it the cat garden. Can we go to the cat garden?"
Oh, I'm just going to stop and show the colours of the foxgloves. He said, wonderful, wonderful view, and come up in close, and you can actually see the different variety that are planted here. So more native species as well as those from further afield. Yeah.
Yes, we've got apple trees here, young apple trees, which of course have blossom in the spring, fruit in the autumn for the birds. There's a cherry tree at the back there.
Oh, cherry tree there, guys, and little seating
this,
area.
This is our latest development.
Yeah.
This is our hibernaculum.
Hibernaculum, yay!
And fungery.
Yeah.
Underneath, it would be a safe space for newts, toads, frogs, and those sort of, for the winter in particular.
Yeah.
On top, we hope, we're encouraging fungi and different sorts of fungi.
Well, that would be great, because just one of the oral histories from that they took of people who lived on Moor Pool that you can hear over at Winterbourne, that I know Taz has been to Winterbourne, but it used to be that there were just hundreds and thousands of frogs, but much less now, and the clip of the oral history that I always remember it, that I don't know who it was, but they said there were so many frogs, you would sweep them up with a broom.
Yeah.
Really?
The toads, yes. I can remember that. There were a lot of toads, and they were all making for the pool. And I was talking to one elderly lady, and she said, "I used to open the front door and open the back door and let them come through because they were coming down from, further away, and they couldn't get through because of the houses were in the way of the pool." And she said that's what she did.
Oh my goodness!
But they've suddenly vanished.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's climate change or whether the whole habitat was changed because of the building work.
Yeah.
but we hope perhaps they'll start coming back
anything that you
again.
can do to sort of support it.
So yeah, those watching, if you want to know what hibernaculum is or a fungi, put it in Google and see what comes up, because I've learnt a new word on my walks during this year. Hibernaculum.
Hibernates.
Yeah.
So,
And like since we were last year, you can see
Strawberries,
that the
yeah.
strawberries are really coming through. Last time we walked,
yes.
it was you could just basically see the
these
flowers.
were left over from Mike, who's one of the. He brought them. He's one of the volunteers. He brought them, put them in. They've sprung like.
Yeah.
And he said they're better than on my allotment. I'm not doing anything to them. You know.
Well, there you go. So next time, if you're out walking, you might be fortunate enough to pick a strawberry and taste it here.
There's a bee in the.
Which one is it? This one.
Yeah, down at the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
There.
Yeah.
Just looking at
They're loving the garden. So what perfect pollination going on.
These apple trees, there are 5 apple trees here.
Mhm.
They are spliced from the old apple trees when the estate was first built. Every garden had an apple tree as a gift, as a fruit tree, not necessarily apple, but a fruit tree. Every house had a fruit tree in the garden. And these are cuttings from the original fruit trees.
That reminds me, like, because I wanted to sort of ask you about the project, the Jubilee Oak. So you're fundraising at the moment,
Yes.
and the information, you're on Facebook, or you can like find you through the Moor Pool Heritage Trust. And so you're fundraising for a Jubilee Oak, which is going to be planted next year.
Next year, the Jubilee during the it won't actually be planted, but it will be unveiled or something.
Oh, okay.
We have to plant it during the winter.
Right.
So we hope to get it. We've contacted various people, various nurseries, and they're all saying, "Oh, trees are in great demand, the Queen's canopy, etc." And they're not. One that we think we'll go for. They're not taking orders until September.
Okay.
And when we do, we want to get an oak that's 7 or 8 foot high, rather than tiny.
Yeah.
Partly because it's safer from the point of view of being trampled and all those. Partly because we know it's growing well.
Yeah.
And the sort that we will get is what's called a free root. They grow them in great big tubs, which weigh a ton, and you need a digger to move them.
Okay.
But we will get one that's been dug out of the ground, so it has to be dug out in the winter when it's dormant, and planted when it's dormant, so, which is much cheaper as well, and easier to put in.
Yeah. So if anybody who's watching is interested in sort of supporting the work of that we're doing Moor Pool, then follow us on Facebook and we'll put up some information.
It's all part of the Queen's canopy and the Queen's Jubilee, and if we have more money, if we finish up with more money, if we finish up with 32 million like Captain Tom, we'll make sure that it's used elsewhere on the estate, and in Birmingham too, probably in that case.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's going to be here in this area here, which is why we've just cleared the stump that was here. It wasn't a tree, it was a stump. So we've cleared that, and this is
It's a
space
lovely
that will
spot.
be.
A lovely
and then
spot.
it's, if you think about shade and shadow, the sun most of the time
Is in that direction.
the shadow will be across the meadow, which will be good for the meadow, rather than across the lawn, which wouldn't be quite so good for the lawn.
Okay.
Because once the sun is midday, it's coming this way, so it won't affect the lawn.
I've just
Careful
seen
playing.
a couple of participants. Do you want to walk up to look for the? I'll just go and check what's happening.
So while we've been talking with Martin, Callan over there has done a little exercise for the walkers today. They've taken them into the woodland area to do the sensory elements to doing that. So we can carry on and walk and talk as they're coming back after the exercise.
Well, you can see various
wildflowers.
Buttercup, obviously. There are 2 here which I planted just a week ago, and they're already
Muskmallow.
They're taking off really nicely. They've grown even in the week since I put them in. campion, marguerite daisies, I call them marguerites anyway.
Yeah.
Comfrey, which is a very good, you can see the bees.
Yeah, the bees love the comfrey, yeah.
Yeah, there's the miniature comfrey over there, but we've got the big comfrey, the full-size comfrey, and there's some more at the back of the border over there, which I didn't point out. But the bees love this, and comfrey is very good for, you can use it for making compost for
Compost,
the
yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
And it grows very fast. We've got various trees planted here and bushes.
Yeah, and you got the root tree on this side.
Yes, yes, with the ferns.
Yeah.
In there, different sorts of fern, hart's tongue fern, and other sorts of fern.
Ferns reminds me of like the it's like wintry seasons.
Guys are going back now, so thank you so much.
Okay, you're
They
welcome.
were just asking why it was called the box.
Bosque is an old word for a woodland.
Okay.
Shakespeare uses it, bosky wood.
Okay.
And I don't know where originally it came from, but we started calling it that, so it's an old word, old English word.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Brilliant.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to go into there just to show that and then catch up with you. So shall I finish the video here or yeah, that'd be a nice place. Do you want to say something to finish off?
Okay.
Yeah, come on. You can finish off the video, and then I know that Callan's managed to get the people down here and do a little sensory kind of exercise with them. So that's really nice that we got to do a real walk with real people, but have this virtual video as well for those who can come out and retrace our steps.
Yeah.
So Maggie's here. So this is the woodland area. We're going to go quickly through the woodland, and then and if you just show us what's happening behind those hedges just here and through there. Yeah, so welcome to the bosque.
Yeah.
I mean, we just mentioned what that was. So look at this wonderful space now. There's immediately you've changed your colours, you've changed your senses, yeah? You're on alert here, you're thinking what's around the corner here? But look at this space here where children can sit. Some wonderful storytelling can happen here.
Yeah.
Den building, as you can see already. And then you got the view of the tennis club, which is one of the oldest tennis clubs as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that Anne Jones sometimes played tennis
Did
here.
she when she was young?
When she was young, but I was saying that from my understanding, I think she played more table tennis here, so I think there was a table tennis. We don't still have a table tennis club,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have 2 tennis clubs, and yeah, so I just would really encourage people to sort of engage with Moor Pool. You don't have to come on a tour with us, you can come and just discover it yourselves, and every day it's different.
The garden's open 10 in the morning till 6 at night.
Every day.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Maybe open later in the summer, but definitely 10 till 6 every day. And in the winter at weekends, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Taz, for allowing us to be involved with your sensory walks. It's been a real honour, and you know, so yeah, I'm just really glad to be able to sort of share some of the wonderful things in Birmingham.
Yeah.
You know.
Birmingham is full of heritage and history, and you are bringing it to us, the viewers who are sitting at home and watching this. So thank you for you know, your knowledge, your wonderful experience of these places that you're sharing with us. And those who are watching, please do come out and visit. Yeah, we really want you. Come and see the wonderful work that's done here and learn about the Moor Pool Heritage Trust. Find out about the volunteers who come in and give up their time to make this such a special space for people to visit. And that's us. So I'll put it back to me. I know Callan's not here, but on behalf of Sense as well, I want to thank them, because Sense have really come together and put the sensory element into the Sense walks that we've been doing, the sensory walks. And today it's been special. It's my last walk. I'm really sad that I'll be leaving you, but I hope these sensory walks have inspired you to go out and learn about what's near you, go out for your physical activity and have a gentle walk, health walk, brisk walk, whatever you want to turn it into, but connect to nature, connect to your local green spaces. Those benefits are amazing for your well-being, and people like John Sutton Netfold knew that a long time ago. So that's why he's created this wonderful place for us here in Harborne. So the hidden little spaces in harbour. So thank you very much both. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you soon on another walk or a visit soon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
It's good.